when my husband was 14 years old, after Christmas and New Year's, he wasn't feeling good, vomiting, diarrhea, that kind of thing. So he went to the doctor, and the doctor said to him, okay, so, maybe you are intoxicated or something. So you should, avoid meat for 2 weeks, and then you can, return to eat meat. My husband decided that was, for him, was the end of eating meat. So he doesn't eat red meat, chicken, fish, nothing. So time went by, and when he was in his 20s, he was hang glider. He used to do that. Thank God that we were not dating at that time, because I was gonna think, oh my goodness, he's gonna kill himself the first year of marriage. But he was in coma for 3 days, I think, and the doctor said to him, one of the reasons of your fast healing and recover is because you don't have toxins in your body. You're a vegetarian. So, for him, it was very easy to become a vegetarian. His family, they were eat-meaters. And if you know about Brazilians, especially in the south of the country, they really eat meat every day. And even here, if you know about the restaurants, Brazilian restaurants, it's all about meat and barbecue. And for me, barbecue, it's not only the taste, but I remember my dad doing barbecue every weekend, almost every weekend. So it's about good memories. It wasn't easy for me. It was hard, but then I start, reading more and more. And of course it is a decision. When my daughter was born, I was working in a hospital that her doctor was, so we used to work together. And I told her that my daughter was going to be vegetarian, and the doctor said, you're crazy, because it's not only a choice, but it's the doctors say you have to eat meat because of the protein. So why are you going to do this with her? It's your husband. And I said, no, it's our decision. If later on she wants to eat meat, it's her decision, but I'm not going to give her meat. And she said, oh, you have to do blood tests every 3 months to see how she's doing. And well, we didn't do that, and she's fine. She's 13 years old. She only had a urine infection when she was potty training. So everything is fine. And I'm also a Bible believer. So when God created human beings, the diet for Adam and Eve, it was fruits, nuts, vegetables. And I really like the Daniel chapter 1, verses 11 through 15, when Daniel went captive to Babylon, and he and his friends decided that they were not going to eat the royal food. The chief official that was appointed to take care of them, he was concerned, and Daniel said, okay, just test us for 10 days, and then we'll see, just give us water and vegetables. And then at the end of the 10 days, they look healthier and better than the other ones that had the royal food. So I'm going to talk a little bit about being vegetarian, the benefits, and I'm going to talk just about heart problems and cancer. We could talk about skin problems, diabetes, other things, but we don't have time for that. So just a curiosity, just how long does it take to digest your food? For red meat, it's about 24 to 72 hours, just comparing to vegetables that it takes only 1 hour. And another interesting thing is that meat eaters, they have intestinal tract that is only 3 times their body length. So the meat can pass quickly. And herbivores have intestinal tract 10 to 12 times their body length, and that's what we have, the same thing. So are we supposed really to eat meat? Just for you to think about. So can becoming a vegetarian protect you against major diseases? Probably the answer is yes, because vegetarians, they tend to consume less saturated fat, less cholesterol in their diet, and they tend to eat more vitamin C and E, fiber, folic acid, potassium, magnesium, plant chemicals, the phytochemicals, the flavonoids, the antioxidants that help your body even to battle against diseases. So in one of the biggest studies talking about heart disease, one of the biggest studies, they combined 5 prospective studies with 76,000 participants. It shows that vegetarians, they are 25% less likely to have a heart problem or to die of a heart attack or have any kind of heart problem. And this was confirmed with the Seventh-day Adventist studies. The whole world, they look what is going on here in Loma Linda. Even when they compare, a lot of studies from Loma Linda, when they compare Loma Linda with other states in the U.S., people here live more. Of course, that this is not only about being a vegetarian, this is a lifestyle, but vegetarian is part of that. And also in Oxford, another study, 65,000 participants show that vegetarians are 19% less likely to have any kind of heart disease. When we talk about cancer, there are a bunch of studies showing. One in England and Germany shows that vegetarians, they are less, if you are not a vegetarian, you have a higher risk of 40% of developed breast, prostate, and colon cancer. And another study from Harvard in 2014 shows that 1 serving a day of red meat during adolescence increases the 22% for you to have a premenopause breast cancer. And the same thing, 1 serving a day of red meat in adulthood increases in 13% of you having breast cancer. So when you eat meat, of course that you have more saturated fat. And one really interesting thing is when you cook the meat, the carcinogen compounds that are formed. So they talk about the HCA, which is a heterocyclic amines. When you cook the meat, even when it's a grilling process, the more heat and the longer you cook the meat, they produce those compounds, and you eat this. And also the PAH, which is the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. When you grill or you broil your meat in a directed flame, the fat melts, and dropping, and then this produces the PAH, and which is a carcinogenic compound. So, and then we eat this. Not even talking about hormones and other things that we are putting in our body when we eat meat. So. I could have been talking about this, but my conclusion is I don't know if you know this, they call this a miracle house. I saw this on the newspaper this week because they are talking about fire. And this was a fire in 1993 in Laguna Hills, and that burned everything around, but the house was there. And you know why? Because of the elements that they used to build the house. So I was just thinking, if we use the right elements in our bodies, maybe we are going to live stronger and longer and with no heart problems and no heart diseases. Thank you.